Hey, everybody. Hey, everyone. This is a bit of an unusual good Monday to you, by the way. And I am presenting an unusual view of
Good Monday to you, by the way.
Las Vegas Stadium.
I am presenting an unusual view of Good Monday to you, by the way.
Las Vegas Stadium. And so, what you see here is live, and I don't have control of the camera, but it gives you this occasional close-up like this one, and it moves around, right? Um, it is. See, then it moves back, and you see where we are. It is approximately 11:08 and Pacific Standard Time. You can see that there's, if you look closely, in fact, I'm going to take you on a bit of an unusual look here because I do have some control. Let me show you the other side. This is the north view right here. Okay, so that's the north view, and you can see there aren't as many cars at work as there usually are. And I don't know if part of that is due to the fact that they don't need as many crews, but also I know that after March 16th, they said specifically that they were not going to have large group jobs. And I mean, they said that, but I think the reason they shut off the interior cam was that no one could actually see them violating that order by Nevada OSHA. And so, because that's the only way they could get as much progress out of the way as they have gotten. Having said that, let me show you where they have a lot of receipts to put in, and oh, see, now you have a close up, so you can they provided one at one point. Now it's live, but on the over here, right there, okay, you can see me running my cursor around, right? That is additional seats to go in. And this crane appeared just a moment ago. This wasn't there earlier this morning. So, trying to figure if we have any options here. So we used to have this. This is this one. What else we have? Then we have North View, and then we have the Gigapixel. And the Gigapixel provides us with views 1, okay, view 2. There we go. That's closer, so we can get a better idea of what's happening. And you can see they finally got the M straightened out in Allegiant Stadium, and they put the finishing touches on it so that it looks professional, as opposed to done by a drunken sailor, right? The roof is not done. The EFTE portion is laid in, yes, but you see those gray areas indicate places where material is supposed to be laid and where additional work is to be done. So that tells me that they've cut back on work crews in order to, I'm just going to guess, this is purely a hypothesis, but they've done so in order to maintain social distancing, because they're probably getting a lot of heat from that. But having said that, you take a look down at the lower right, you see all the trucks. It's an essential business. It's been deemed that, so they can go ahead and something they can violate social distancing, whatever. You can see the first of all, let's get one thing out of the way for those of you who are hungry for positive information. The stadium is beautiful. No question about it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I would say the only other stadium in the league that is as striking, well, is the Falcon Stadium. The Falcon Stadium, you have to see it. It is like a, it looks like a Mercedes Benz building. It's just technically what it is. This one looks like what Mark Davis said he wanted, is like a race car, you know, stylish, black, you know, flowing, flowing design. Um, you can see they've already set in the trees to start to grow. They have a long way to go with respect to infrastructure. There is most of the infrastructure that was done was drainage, utilities related, but infrastructure that has to do with moving traffic, that's another story. I don't know how they're going to successfully host a game here without causing an enormous traffic bomb at this stage. Let's see what the V3 gives us. Yeah, that's the tray at the back area. You can see where we are with the tray. Oh, Aaron C says, will it be done by August? I expect it'll be substantially done by September. The question is, and Corey says the stadium would have looked even better to the Oakland waterfront somewhere. Yeah, well, it would have been at the Coliseum. But to answer Aaron's question, here's what I want to get to, okay? I don't know if it's going to be done by Aaron, and I'm saying that because the construction monitors report specifically noted that the first event, that originally the first event was to be held October, was to be held August 16th, 2020. Then the construction monitors report went on to say that that has been removed and there's no certain date. Okay, let me find that um, report so perhaps I can present that to you and read it, because I can do that here. Let's see here. Well, we've got. By the way, this is also on Oakland News Now. If you want to watch this a different way, it's under LV Stadium link under Las Vegas Stadium News. If you go to Super Bowl Oakland, it has a little tab. Press that. Anyway, let me go and find the Las Vegas LV Stadium Authority site and present that to you. One moment, please. Let's see. Next meeting, by the way, is May 21st, 2020. Meeting info. March 19th. That was canceled. They did have a project status report here. And project schedule. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm going to switch this over so you can see this. And I can read it with you so you know that I'm getting this from actual documentation, okay? And yeah, it would have looked great. So I keep saying what someone should do is just for grins, take the design and Photoshop insert it in the Coliseum grounds and see what it would look like. Anyway, where am I here? Okay, I'm getting in the all important page you need to see. That's not me, of course. This is it. That's not it. It is this one. Yeah. This is the staff summary report. And hey, Ed Reed, how you doing? The staff summary report right here. See if I can zoom in on it because I want you to see this. This is vital that you see this. Okay. Okay. Read that. Okay. How about a little closer? All right. Let's go down project schedule. Okay. Now what are you reading? It reads as follows. Let's just move this over here a little bit. Okay. It moves as follows. It reads the project schedule was generally unchanged during the current reporting period. Substantial completion. Note that. Substantial completion. I'll bring that closer for you to read. Boom. Boom. Okay. I'll do this. I want to make sure you read this. Because you can tell anybody that writes fake news, oh no, I saw it. I know where it's at. It's not fake at all. Okay. Got that? Okay. It reads the project schedule was generally unchanged during the current reporting period. Substantial completion is anticipated on July 31st, 2020, and project closeout is scheduled for October 31st, 2020. Project closeout means it's really when it's finished. That's what I told you last year. And people kept saying, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I said that a year and a half ago. So people like to tell me about things that I'm wrong about, but they don't like to talk about things I'm right about, right? Just saying. The date of the stadium's opening event had been reported as August 16th, 2020, and now is reported as not yet defined. Let's get a closer look on that. Okay, not yet defined. Okay, not yet defined. Okay, and then it reads that flexibility of stadium programming shifts from theoretical to actual. And here's the other problem with that. Okay, is this the other problem with that is I'm going to go back to the stadium right now, but the other problem with that is that you've got get this here. Yeah, the other problem with that, what I just read to you, is it was produced in January this year, way before the coronavirus problem hit. So, um, so it's important to keep that in mind. That now with the coronavirus problem and all these events being canceled around the world, Comic-Con, I've covered Comic-Con for the last 10 years in San Diego. It's canceled for the first time. Canceled for the first time. Um, I'm heartbroken. And so um, that was my Mecca event of the year, Comic Con. And Donis, you keep asking, Donis, you tell me, because people have a tendency to ask me the same question over and over again. You tell me. You tell me. Okay. I'm just saying, you tell me. All right. Because people tend to ask me these questions over and over again that are they're not detailed. Okay, it's the same thing again and again and again. It's nothing about like what you should be asking me about is whether or not Allegiant Airlines can afford their sponsorship or what the sponsorship financial position looks like. You know, but what I'm tired of, and I don't mean to be angry with you. I'm not angry. But I am perturbed. Um, it's not stopped. No, Ed Reed, it's not stopped. Um, uh, and see, there's a definitive view. He says, if not, it's not stopped. No play in Oakland, and I'll explain why. They're not playing in Oakland because they don't want to, and there's no guarantee there's going to be even an NFL season if they play anywhere. Um, they are acting as per the desires and direction of their owner, Mark Davis, the principal managing general partner, who is offended that the city sued him, even though the city is going to lose the first round, is going to be dismissed. Uh, you know, but and my point is, I want to emphasize this. I've always been for the lawsuit because not the antitrust part, but there was clear breach of contract. The antitrust part is way too esoteric, and to me, there's this simple rule of keep it simple, stupid. But Mark Davis and the Raiders went out and they tried to pick fights with people. That's on video, and getting people's faces and arguing with them, as opposed to selling them. You know, on what they're trying to do, keeping everything transparent and open. So they caused this, and the reason why I wanted to head up any effort to bring the NFL into LA, I didn't think about Vegas, was I believe I could do it in a way that didn't get the league sued. But now the league is in the middle of a couple of lawsuits. So, hey, there you go. But I don't see them shifting gears and playing in Oakland because of the behavior of Mark. Okay. Mark has something about Oakland. He's had it for a long time. And it's not rational. That's just in my opinion. And I'm allowed to my opinion. It's very weird. Okay. Because in a normal situation, none of this would be going on. Corey Brown says, does St. Louis have better representation than Oakland as far as his court cases? No, I don't want to say that. No. It's not a matter of better representation. It's not a matter of anything that's personal. Okay? It is a matter of something that's procedural. Because you have to remember something. The fans went along with this that paid for this. Okay, Ray Bobbitt paid for this. This was like $40,000 out of his pocket. He paid for it. So they went strictly with what he said and what the attorney felt that the only way, and so here's the problem. Here's the reason why it didn't go well. Is because there was a focus on the antitrust part and not the breach of contract. If they had followed the St. Louis complaint to the letter, they would have gotten the same outcome, which means not dismissed, into discovery, moving forward, because the evidence is clear that that's what happened. All right. Aaron says, did Al want to move out of Oakland before his passing? No. And it's a mistruth to say that he did. Just being honest. Mr. Davis never expressed that. In fact, even when I was going after the Super Bowl, this is why this is so ridiculous. I was working on bringing the Super Bowl to Oakland, and we were in the middle of a lawsuit with the Raiders. Yet the Raiders helped me. It's a different organization, okay? And there was an organization that realized that, hey, you know what? We have a beef that needs to be settled in court, but you're doing something that is good for us. We'll be right there with you. Fine. But no, he didn't want to do that. It wasn't in his mind. What was in his mind was getting a better Coliseum, and they liked being there. Amy Trask said so publicly to the media in 2007, and Mr. Davis didn't pass away until October 8th of 2011. So no, not at all. Let's get back to stadium here. Let's give you another view. That's north view. This is the 24-hour string. Okay. There. And you can see how the traffic is picked up. I wish I could zoom in for you, get a little bit of a better view. Go back here. That's where we were. Oh, that's a slightly different, that's an angle where we were. Okay, we'll click on that for a little bit and see what happens. Well, it's a still. Trouble is it's a still, but you can see some changes in the snapshot. Let's go live. The lanai doors are still an issue. As you can see that they're covered over. They're still not done. So you have the doors not done, the grounds not done, the roof edges not done, the interior not done, the seats not installed, the concessions not in. Like I said, there's still a lot of work to do. These things are not, you can't just throw them up. In fact, you should never do that. You should take your time, as they say. But Alice, let's see here, but Aaron, no, Al didn't want to. Okay. The other problem is that he didn't want to move out of Oakland. The problem between the city and the Raiders, as far as Mr. Davis is concerned, okay. And everybody says, did you watch in Mark's own words documentary audience? Great job, Zen, on part 2. You were in Davis' head. Oh, thanks. I didn't see that. No, was there a video around? He said, I'm in his head. Oh, that's too bad. Poor man. He should have better things on his mind than me. But what did he say, by the way? Now, I'm curious now. See how this camera moves, by the way? Because sometimes it has a tendency to put you like really close in. But Ed, if you could type what he said. See, look, right on cue. And then it goes off on these flights of fancy, like it goes off in the sky. Then it stays there and goes off in the sky for a while, and then it comes back. So what did he say? Just curious. While that angle is on, watch this. Okay, we can always straighten that out. From our perspective, give you another view 3. There we go. See? And then there's our 24-hour stream. There we go. There we go. So all is not lost. Oh, you're talking about when I'll tell you how that started. The night before that was at the 2015 NFL Spring League meeting in San Francisco, at the Ritz-Carlton. Nice place. And what happened was that I was trying to explain to Libby, who's my god sister, and I was saying, look, the Raiders working behind your back. They're trying to go to Carson. And Libby said, no, they're not. And she's, says they've been great, everything else. I said, no, well, that's fine, but they're working behind your back. And no, he was ready to fight me. He was. I told her. So we crafted that. What you saw, Ed, was the result of a plan. The mayor and I planned that. So I was really there on behalf of the mayor because I wanted him on camera to basically be encouraged to admit exactly what was really going on. Okay. And you heard it. And Libby got the answer she really wanted, that they were actually working at cross purposes. And the reason prior to what you saw, the reason I emphatically stated that was I ran across a video about the first version of the stadium you're looking at. This design was supposed to be in Carson, but without a roof. Okay. and it wasn't going to be black. It was going to be some color that more represented the Chargers and the Raiders. But this design was lifted whole cloth. This is the Carson Stadium. And Mark Davis basically, and the Raiders basically borrowed it or took it. I can't say they took it because that would be implying that they stole it from San Diego. I don't think that was the case. Anyway, that design by Mantica was originally one that didn't have a roof. Okay. So what happened, Ed, was that now this is in 2015. So it all goes back to 2000. That video was 2015, right? But earlier in 2015, really 2014, unbeknownst to a lot of people, including myself at the time, Mark was already talking to Vegas, was trying to move to Carson, talking to Vegas about gambling, right? But nothing was settled because at that time, the thought was, well, can you move to Vegas? But what Mark was really interested in at the time was UNLV's book on how to do gambling in the NFL in a way, and pro sports in a way that was morally clean. Okay. And so what happened was that as that went on, something else went on. Even before then, in 2014, the Chargers were supposed to meet with the mayor, but the Chargers told the mayor to hold off and wait. They were supposed to meet that summer of 2014. It never happened. Okay, to work on a new stadium. Meanwhile, what the Chargers really did was they got Mantica to build a design mock-up, a design of what you're seeing here is a stadium. And so in February of 2015, on the 19th of February, they shocked the world and rolled out the stadium, not for Oakland, but for Carson. And the idea was that the Raiders and the Chargers were going to share that stadium. If, and only if, this is what they said, they could not get a deal on the home teams. It was a ruse. That's where the game started. Okay? That's where the game started. I got wind of it. And I was trying to explain to Libby that was really what was going on, because she had no clue. So I said, look, when I go to the meeting, I will go and I will ask Mark if he is working behind your back. So what you saw was planned. And what happened afterward, so yeah, he was completely mad. Mad more than anything that, you know, he had to admit before people, hey, he was working at cross purposes. But what happened after that was even more interesting. And so I'll show the video too, Ed. Excuse me. I'll show the video since you mentioned it. One moment, please. But what happened was that afterward, Mark Davis, Mike Silver, who I've known since, gosh, I guess he was 18 or 19, and he was undergraduate school, Cal, I was in grad school. We were all the same area, hanging out. Anyway, we were all standing there talking about the league and the new PAT rule. And I happened to say to Mark, you should start your own task force to build a stadium. He started giggling and saying, what's a task force? And so I started trying to explain, and I realized I was going down the rabbit hole. So I just said, look, and as I said, look, he said, you come up with a stadium plan. And I said, excuse me? And Mark said, you come up with the stadium plan. So I looked at Silver, and then I looked back at Mark, and I said, say that again. He goes, you come up with a stadium plan. Send it to Kiss over there. Kiss will stand up against the wall, kind of like, What do you mean? Will's a very casual guy. And so I went ahead, and that's precisely what I did. I went and I got Piper Jaffray Investment Bankers, one of the top investment bankers in the country. They blessed the spreadsheet plan that I came up with, which involved using net operating income from a hotel wing, and uh, and then from that point going forward, using that to fill the $400 million gap that Mr. Davis said he had. Hey, Ed, I would caution as far as doing anything right now. I think that politically it's bad timing because we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. All right. So I don't think. Here's my point. I'm really asking people to get off these common ways of thinking, because I could see a scenario where a substantial number of NFL teams, every single one, would be significantly devalued because of this. Where that leads the league, I don't know. It's not going to ramp up absent a government bailout. It's not going to ramp up like that. I'm not saying I doubt that the bailout will come, but the question isn't whether or not it will come. The question is, how large will it be? And the question is, will it be too late? Because right now they're losing money, right? Okay, you've still got utility costs to pay and everything else. Losing money. All right, the Raiders may have a sponsor calling them right now saying, what, I've got a problem. I can't pay X million you want it from me. All right, and the Raiders have to adjust to that. And see, the trouble is you have this media out there that is really anti-intellectual and very just want to be a PR for the company and all that jazz. And so no one asks any questions. And I know it's Las Vegas and they don't like that, but look, the stadium minders need to ask for help. They need to ask for help from me, from you. Las Vegas needs to ask for help. Because you can't just say, we're going to, stop all this and open up, because people could get killed. We have a virus that's killing people. You know what I mean? It is killing people. Not here or there. This is the whole world. The whole world is going through this. All right? The whole world. This is a crisis of biblical proportions. So I would get off I'm trying to do everything I can to get something done in Oakland, because you have people in Oakland who are just like every place else in Las Vegas. They're trying to just make ends meet. They're hoping to get their stimulus check. What you ought to be trying to do? In fact, I'm going to write this. What you should be trying to do, okay? What you should be trying to do is get masks for people, color, black folks in Oakland. Okay. That's what you ought to be doing. A lot of us don't have masks. So you need to keep your eye on the ball if you're really in Oakland. All right. So, because all this jazz, I don't mean to be insulting to people, but it's starting to sound like it's really immature. I mean, you have to realize where we're at. We are in trouble, man. Got people who aren't getting their stimulus checks. We have people working on this project getting sick. Everybody's sheltered in place. They don't know what day it is because one day blurs into the other. And you guys are like, business as usual. This is not business as usual. You need to wake up and knock it off. Worry about the people who need help now. Okay? Because, Man. Now, let's go back and I'll get that video you were talking about as far as Mark is concerned. But I'll go. But what I want to do here is take a look at 3. See, it's a little closer now. You can see how far you can see how much work they have to do with getting the grounds prepped. They're really behind schedule over there. And they've got to build, there's another berm they've got to build. And they can't do it with a skeleton crew because they have to be mindful of social distancing. If they get fined, man, they don't want to get shut down. Okay. Okay, so now let me get the video that he is talking about. This one.
Mr. Davis,
then why did you hire Fairman?
Okay, I got the video, and then I'm going to go over and oh, I get it. I'm sorry, Ed. I get it. My apologies. Ed said that because Mark Davis said, I'm doing everything I can to get something done in Oakland. He did say that. And I apologize that I didn't know. You know, that's the problem with two-dimensional text. But I think I think you will like what I'm about to present. Right here. This is there it is. This is the video that Ed is referring to. Let me see if I can enlarge it a bit. Or see how I'm going to do that. If I enlarge it, it'll fill the screen, so I'll just play it.
I don't really want to talk about Mark Davis with the Oakland Post. A lot of the people in Oakland want to know, what do you think about these allegations that, you know, there's a deal with San Diego and the Rams? And
I want to freeze that. See that guy in the blue tie behind Mark? That's Peter Schrager. I don't know who he was with at the time, but no one knew Peter until he went on the NFL Network. That's Peter Schrager.
Raiders going to Southern California, but they want to be called Oakland. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, or have you heard that?
I don't quite understand the question.
Well, a lot of people saw you at the Clippers game, and they associated that with those allegations.
What allegations?
So, I think what he's trying to say is, are you going to move the team to Carson?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep the team in Oakland.
Mr. Davis,
Then why did you hire Fairman Policy?
Well, I'm working in Oakland right now and trying to get something done in Oakland. See what happens. And we have a parallel path going on in Los Angeles. In case we can't get something done, we have to have something.
But Mr. Davis,
Couldn't you hire
the mayor's
Mr. Policy
concerned
to
that
work in
basically
Oakland?
you're working
Couldn't you
at cross
hire
purposes.
Policy to work in Oakland for you?
We're working in Oakland. Why would I need to hire a Carmen Policy?
But the mayor's concerned that you actually paid for a video for San Diego, okay, in part with
Paid for it?
Yeah, it's right
A
there on
video.
the video for the stadium for San Diego says
Yes.
paid for in part by the Oakland Raiders. It says that. And the mayor's concerned that you're working
What
at cross
mayor's
purposes.
concerned?
Libby Schaff,
Is concerned what?
that you're working at cross purposes. That she's
Okay, I think you're making accusations and things like that aren't true.
no, it's not an accusation.
Yeah,
sir.
they are
It's not.
accusations.
No, it's not.
As I've told
It's
you,
very
we're
serious.
working as hard as we can to stay in Oakland.
Okay.
Okay? We're meeting with every one of their.
So you're willing to put money in Coliseum City if it calls for it, if you get a
We're putting $500 million into Coliseum City. So what do you say? Is that something new to you?
But what
No,
about
no,
we've
not
been
the
saying that for
Sir, it's the pre-development expenditures that have been made, that have been publicly announced on the video, on the economic study that the Raiders were
a
commissioned.
video?
Hey, and the economic study and Carmen Policy. I have a whole list of them. I'm happy to go through
Okay,
it with you.
excuse me. What do you guys want to know?
So are you
Have
moving
you
to
closed
LA?
on the land deal?
We're trying to get something done in Oakland. Okay? If we can get something done in Oakland, we're staying in Oakland. I've said that continually and consistently for the last 5 years.
But you hired Mr. Policy to work
Yeah,
for
we
you
have to
now,
hire.
right?
We hire people. Yeah, we do.
Did
in
you
LA,
hire
been
him
in LA.
because he was a Bay Area guy and maybe he might have some strings to pull around here, that maybe he has some rapport with some of the something?
I'm not going to
around-
talk about the process and why I'm doing things. He's been hired to work on the Los Angeles project.
What do you say to these guys out here, Mark? They're calling for you to stay
I
open.
love the Raider fans.
They want you to do the right
Raiders
thing.
fans and work. Absolutely, I want to do the right thing. So what is the right thing for me to do?
Well, they're worried that you're buying titling land down in San Diego, down in Carson, and they're worried that means you're going to go.
Well, how many times can I tell you that we're trying to stay in Oakland? How many times can I tell you that?
What's the holdup? What's the problem?
The problem?
Yeah.
Well, I really don't want to get into the negotiations and those kind of things, but we're working with the city of Oakland and the county of Alameda trying to come up with a deal to stay in Oakland.
Mr.
That's-
Davis, have you
that's-
closed on a land deal in Carson?
Yes, we did.
When did that happen?
Last night.
And for how much?
What do you mean for how much? How much do you think it was for?
I'm asking. I'm not a real
I'm not so sure that I'm supposed to be talking about those kind of things. But
How much time realistically does Oakland have to put a proposal on the table that can keep you?
yesterday. But I think on June 21st, they have a deliverable date to us to come up with a financing plan to help put the stadium together. As I said, we've got $500 million, including the NFL's.
Has anyone presented you the original Coliseum City deal, which is exactly what you asked for yesterday? In other words,
What's that?
the original Coliseum City deal that was formed in 2006 through 9. Have you ever seen that one? This is actually what you asked for. Has anyone presented
We
that
we
deal?
haven't gotten anything. We haven't gotten anything. All right? Nothing.
Talk about to a
And
Raiders
that's why we have to look for options.
To a
We
Raider.
have gotten nothing in response.
What are the chances you're going to stay in Oakland, or the chances you're moving to LA?
I would ask the city of Oakland and the county of Alameda. We want to stay. So if it were up to me, it's 100%.
And what would it take from the city of Oakland, county of Alameda?
Well, we have to come up with the financing gap that we have to build a stadium. We need to, and that's really the situation.
Money, just money.
Yeah, and land, and there is a situation in Oakland that's different from anywhere else, and that's we have a baseball team, and as you know, we're the only team playing on a baseball field for the first half of our season, and the Oakland A's have to make a decision on what they want to do as well.
Could there be?
We have made the, I don't know what it would be, but we would like for the A's to stay. Selfishly, we'd like to have that land all to ourselves, but we'd like the A's to stay. We'd like the Raiders to stay. We'd like to build a baseball and a football stadium. Maintain the parking that we have so we have a game day experience with tailgating and everything else. But I don't want to build a football stadium in the corner of a parking lot, leave the current Coliseum standing, build a beautiful new stadium, and then be in a construction zone for the next 3 or 4 years while they tear down the Coliseum where it stands and build a new baseball stadium and inconvenience the fans.
Could there
We're
be a
ready to take
consideration about a possibility of maybe Concord or Walnut Creek to where they could still be called the Oakland Raiders, and they could still stay in the Bay Area without moving to Southern California, because
And you know how to fill that funding gap.
well, you're the owner. I mean, we as
So no one talked to you
Mark,
about
is this the 11th hour for the home markets?
I don't want to put a time limit on it, but it's getting close.
So
It's
if I
getting
may,
really
sir,
close.
then
Do you anticipate a vote before the end of the season?
I don't know how that process is going to work.
So if I may, sir, no one's mentioned a lease revenue bond financing structure like it's proposed in Carson.
What's that now?
No one has mentioned in the Oakland case a lease revenue bond structure as was proposed in Carson.
No.
Wow.
What is the funding gap? How much does the city
Well,
kind of need?
we're looking at about a $900 million stadium to build in Oakland, and we've got $500 million. So it's about a $400 million funding gap. And if in fact the land is included in the deal and the infrastructure, which is they've talked about offering, then we've got about a $400 million funding gap.
Isn't that a hard sell for the taxpayers of Oakland?
I would think so. I would think so. And the problem is we haven't had any commitment that we could have the land and that we do have the infrastructure so that we could find someone to help fill that funding gap. And possibly now that the city and the county are working together for the first time, that they may be able to come up with an answer up there.
Mark, what do you think of the
What's that?
How does Carmen help in this process?
I think you'd have to ask him and Steve and that.
Were
I'm
you
really
not
not.
behind that hiring?
I'm behind it, but I'm really concentrating on Oakland, and I think.
Okay, so there you go. That is that's the video that Ed was referring to right there.
I don't really want to talk about it.
You stop that there. That's the video that it was referring to, and but what was really in the back of Mark's mind all along was, frankly, just having this, okay, and he didn't want at any time to really be in Oakland. And this is a plan that was laid out and it unfolded to get new stadiums in new areas. So there you go. Getting back to where we are here. Oh, keep in mind here. See this? There's no interior camera. They took that out. Okay. Take a look at this 24-hour stream. Let's take a look at what this looked like at night. That was at night. See, they were working on it at night. See how they work lights on? So they do the work lights on so that they can get work done at night and they're less likely to be seen violating social distancing. But if you take a look, very faint, you can see that on the grounds there are vehicles moving around. Okay, this was at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's been like that most. This is another one. Okay, that was at 2 o'clock. So that's 11 o'clock at night. They didn't have them on, and then they turn on the work lights later. Here, see that? They wait until see that? Look. It's dark here, right? Then it's midnight. Then they turn on the lights at midnight. Okay, at 10 o'clock they were off. See that? So they wait until it's like late at night. 12 midnight, bam. Turn them on, man. That's sneaky. Sneaky. Okay? Turn them on. Okay? So they can, and then what happens is that they turn them on, it gets brighter. All right, check a look. Okay, it gets brighter. At 1 o'clock, additional lighting. At 3 o'clock, they've got them all lit up. This is 3 in the morning. 4 in the morning. 5 in the morning, getting till dusk. 6 o'clock, they don't need them anymore, but you can tell they were still on, right? See? Those dudes are sneaky, man. They want to wait until it gets really dark and they can do their business. Well, just wanted to show you all that. You have your construction update now in a different way. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. See everybody later. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.